Welcome everyone to Presentations Just Got Easier with AI. We hope to share more about how to harness the power of AI to create powerful presentations. My name is Linda Sudlesky. I'm a learning designer in the Learning Design Services team. And I also teach, co-teach visual literacy and information design and an artist in my spare time as well. So I'm looking forward to talking with you today about the potential here with generating really wonderful presentations and save a lot of time. So for today's agenda, what we're going to do is go over the general understanding of AI-generated presentations, what that means, and then get into creating some presentations with Gamma, and then also discuss the benefits and the risks, and of course, answer any questions you may have as well. So what is an AI-generated presentation? By definition, it is a slideshow built at some level through machine learning. And the reason I say at some level is because from my perspective, there are two main components of AI-generated presentations. The first is the generation of content based on a text prompt or an outline. And the second is the ability to select images, text, and layout and provide you with options to create compelling visual stories. So we all, I know, sometimes dread, I know I do, dread coming up with a presentation. And where do you start? What do you put in it? Where do you find the images? So this will help answer some of those questions. So just a quick overview, some presentation apps that use AI, and there are many, so I encourage you to research them, is SlideBean is one, and it uses AI to generate presentations. And Canva offers AI-generated templates, as well as now has what they call magic design presentations, which will appears to use ChatGPT basically, because all of the information is up until 2021. So that's one thing you have to be concerned about. And also Haiku Deck, which now rebranded itself since like Haiku Deck, I think has been around since 2010, and it just rebranded itself in 2020 as Haiku Deck Zuru, and which uses AI to automatically create presentations. So there are many more though. Prezi does use AI to a certain extent. There's Beautiful AI, Emaze, Visme, Powtoon. You may have heard of some of these, but these are all apps that you can explore and do Google searches on to learn more about, because everybody has a certain style, and each offers a different style of presenting. So I have a question for you, and Ellen, will you open the poll, please? Have you created a presentation using AI? So I'll give you a couple or a minute to answer the poll, basically. Ellen, you could tell me when you think everybody has pretty much completed that.
28 out of 33 have answered, and it's not incrementing. So there's always people who don't
end the poll.
I think so.
Yeah.
In the poll.
Yep.
And I will share the results.
Okay, thank you. All right, so most of you have not used AI, but I'm kind of wondering if perhaps maybe you have. In PowerPoint now, I think I've been aware of this a while. There's this design ideas feature where you could click on the design ideas button and get a bunch of different ideas for slides and choose one. That's AI, basically. So you may have been using AI and not even realized it because it's embedded within Microsoft PowerPoint. So that's something to think of as well. So what I wanted to show you today is a product called Gamma. And Gamma is, I'm going to end the show and go to my browser. So Gamma is located at gamma.app, and we could put that in chat for everybody. And it's a new, as it promotes itself, a new medium for presenting ideas powered by AI. You can sign up for free. And when you sign up for free, you get 200 credits, and it charges you the credits per presentation. What it does, and what I just did recently to get more credits was I sent a link to everybody that I knew so that they could log in as well. And once they did, I got additional credits. Or you could pay monthly or yearly for Gamma. So I am going to log in. I'm just going to click on log in. And instead, I'm just going to go to my already logged in page. And as you can see, I've played around with Gamma just a little bit. And because I have some presentations to do other than this one, and I wanted to get started, basically. And also to build this presentation, I've taken little pieces of the presentation and prompted Gamma and see what Gamma has to say about it, then made my own changes. So if I wanted to create a new presentation, I could just create new from using AI, or I could new from as a blank presentation. I'm going to click on new from AI. And I'm going to ask it to generate because I'm not giving it any text. So I like this. It's kind of fun because it says, hey, I'm your design partner. What would you like to create today? So I'm going to choose presentation. And so then it gives me some options that I could choose from. Like, do I want to know about the history of dinosaurs, or journey through the rainforest, or I could even type in the word chocolate and get information about a presentation about chocolate if I want to. Does anybody have any ideas they want me to try for this demo? Ellen, do you see anything in chat?
I don't see anything in chat, but how about the Battle of Gettysburg?
Okay.
Oh, I see play therapy in chat.
Play therapy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll try play therapy. So then it tells me, yeah, play therapy, that sounds interesting. Here's an outline I came up with. So right now, what I could go in and do is I could edit this outline and say, no, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about that instead. Or I could accept this outline as it is and say, yeah, let's see what you can give me on this topic. So I'm going to, or I could try again with a different prompt if I wanted to. So I'm going to continue. And then it's going to ask me to pick a theme. So I could pick from any one of these themes on the right. I mean, they're not super wonderful themes. They're to me, they're average. But I could pick any one of them. So what I'm going to do is pick this this one here and hit continue. And here now it's building my presentation. And keep in mind, though, it's pulling this information on everything from 2021 for not forward, back. So anything new about play therapy since 2021, it's not going to pull in here, and you would have to put in yourself. I mean, it's kind of like, wow, this could have taken me hours, you know, to put this together. So
I have a question in the chat. Is there a difference between the free version of Gamma and the pay version? What's the value add to getting a subscription?
I believe it's that you could download it when you get the subscription, or you log, or you have an account as a free account user. Well, free, I'd have to get credits. But I still can't download, but I could cover that in a little bit, like at toward the end. We can talk about that further. But yes, you there are differences, and I don't know them off the top of my head, quite honestly. So I'll get to those in a little bit.
I'm looking in the chat and I'm trying to assimilate it all. Where is the information coming from? Has it been trained? Has it been trained, or is it polling the web?
I believe it's polling the web, and probably utilizing ChatGPT or something similar.
Well, because ChatGPT, wait a minute. ChatGPT doesn't pull the web, right? ChatGPT,
yeah, it does.
It's been trained on data up to 2020, whatever.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I thought it did scrape the web no matter what, but Jean may have some thought on that as well. But that is a good question.
That's a good question that would be.
We will get.
Why don't we move on? Why don't we hold that question, Jean, and maybe you can help us later. I'm looking at the. There's a lot of questions here, so if you don't mind, it's going to take me a little bit.
Well, while you're looking at those questions,
does UMass Boston have a policy for screening student work for being created with AI? I do not think we do.
No,
we do not.
We do not.
That's a quick answer to that one. Without
and the one thing that I have done as in the instructor role is we talk about it in class and talk about it as a first step, or something that you can't fully depend on and that you have to also do your own research. So, I mean, this is, from my perspective, I see this as a first step. I see this as an idea generator and something that could get you started. And then what I would do next, honestly, is click on the ellipsis here, and you can export. And so now I can export this as a PDF or a PowerPoint. Now, obviously, I'm going to choose PowerPoint because that'll make life easier. And click done. And then open it up in PowerPoint and do my editing and maybe add, if I have my own intellectual information that I want to add to this that I don't want to be part of the AI product, I would do that offline.
So to clarify, am I hearing you say that if I add my own intellectual content to a presentation in the Gamma software, it gets added to the pool of knowledge that it will pull now if somebody else makes a thing? And
I was gonna, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, because I heard you say that, but I wanted to be sure.
Yes. So
what about
moving on? Unless you have other questions.
There are a few questions. One is about references. What about citations? Is it putting in citations?
It is not putting in citations, no.
Okay.
And you can, when you do prompt it, you could prompt it to put in citations perhaps, and we could try that.
There's a statement.
But I wouldn't 100% trust them anyway. I would be doing my own research to double check and say, oh yeah, no, you know what, this is a good approach. I could talk about this, but I'm going to research it further, you know, and I'm going to find my own citations and see if this is correct or if this is, you know, an AI hallucination. So
Thank you. There's some more questions. There's several questions about the imagery.
yes.
I'm going to ask if there's alt text provided for them, and what about the licensing or attributions to the creator of these images, or are these images in themselves AI generated?
Also, a very good question. I think that many of them are AI generated. But it says here, image licensed all images. So it appears that we could use these images that they're licensed to the product. But that is another thing that, you know, needs further investigation for sure.
Somebody's suggesting the images are from expired copyright.
Expired
I don't know if
copyright.
they're suggesting that or stating it.
So
Let's see. Can you create a presentation from pre-selected journal articles?
in other words, you paste in an entire journal article?
No, probably you draw information from vetted sources.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say, I want this article, and this article, and then create a presentation from those 3 articles?
That is another good question, because I don't think that in creating new using AI that you can see, you could use the prompt here to generate or text transform. So perhaps under the text transform, we would be able to paste in articles and then go from there.
So that's, you find the content and you paste it in, as opposed to telling the software, draw your information only from these scholarly journals.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. That's what it appears to be, yes. But as you know, Ellen said yesterday, we are just in the beginning stages of investigating this ourselves and wanted to call attention to it as a tool. And I think that's the important way to look at this is another tool in our toolbox. It's another tool that's in our students' toolbox as well. And, you know, I've noticed in the past few days, there are small little things that you can do to identify a presentation that was done with a product such as this versus in PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, the templates are the templates and they don't move. When I brought this over, the presentation that I did through AI, like when I went back to my my workspace. Oops, sorry. Oh, and I have like an AI series, workspace, templates, inspiration. Let me see here. No, apologize. Oh, so creating from blank. But there's a list of presentations here that I have done. When I've taken one of these and put it in PowerPoint, say if it had a purple background like my presentation does, that purple background is a box. It's not a template itself. It is a shape that moves a lot. So if you asked your students to provide you with the presentation that they gave, and you see that it's not made with an actual PowerPoint template, it's made with, you know, bits and pieces, then it's possible that it is AI generated, because that's how it comes over for some reason. Going back to my PowerPoint. Hold on a second. Want to discuss basically what you can do after creating the slides. You can present from the product. So there is a presenter mode that allows you to view notes just like you can in PowerPoint. It allows you to use remote control from an app on your phone, or you sharing or exporting. My personal preference is to export and add, that secret sauce that's our own intellectual information offline. And I figured that benefits and risks and knowing those would be important for you. As we know, AI is revolutionizing the way we're doing things, between image creation, collection of data, presentations. It is really, really speeding things up as far as how we can get our work done and the processes that we need to undertake on a daily basis. So yes, you save time using AI. And as you just saw, you can create a quality presentation with minimal effort. However, you do have to check that data. And you do have to still do your own work. It's just, in my opinion, a good starter. The visual consistency, I don't know. I think visual consistency is a little bit slightly overrated. I mean, you want things to be visually consistent to a certain extent, but you also don't want people to see the same type of slide throughout the entire presentation to keep their interest. So yes, it'll give it a professional look, but I also found the slides that it produced slightly boring. And then I went through and made, adjustments to it and added images here and there. So they're claiming the visual appeal allows you to keep your audience interested and focused throughout the presentation. And they claim that it's easy to update. Well, easy is a relative term, I think, when it comes to updating an AI presentation. Like I said, it doesn't export with an actual template that converts as a template in PowerPoint. It's just a bunch of boxes that do move around on you a lot. And so it's not that easy to update. Go to the next slide. However, like I had said earlier, I do think it's a wonderful starting point for presentation development. So you can generate ideas based on your outline and your goals and utilize prompt engineering so that instead of saying, I want to build this whole presentation on and have this big long prompt, what I did is basically I took the different sections of what I wanted to teach and go over with you guys and said, okay, could you give me a presentation on benefits and risks? Give me a presentation on how to use it, and chunk it out. And that, I think, gets you a long way when it comes to preparing and building a presentation. Is you can build separate little presentations and put them together. So I prefer to use it as a starting point. So limitations and challenges of AI-generated presentations. Obviously, the human touch will be missing. And that could impede connecting with the audience. So that's important to keep in mind. And the what we call the ChatGPT hallucination or AI hallucination, is that contextual understanding. You want to make sure that you have that you are aware that it lacks the ability to contextualize and understand your subject that you're asking it to generate. And so therefore, some things can be irrelevant or incorrect, and it needs your editing. And as with any technology, AI presentations can create those challenges when it comes to privacy and security. So I would not, put my dissertation in an AI or anything that is my intellectual content that I am concerned about sharing with somebody prematurely. So this is just a side-by-side of AI versus human created presentations. I changed this up from what the AI gave me because it said that the AI was more creative than the humans, and I disagree. I think we're more creative ultimately. And because we know our topic better than anyone, and we have wonderful ideas, and we shouldn't shortchange ourselves on those ideas. So I put creative in the human slot. Does anyone have any questions about the difference between the two and what concerns arise from the idea of using AI generated presentations?
There's Linda, would you like to there's a lot of discussion going on in the chat. Should we convert that to a voice discussion?
Oh, we can.
Are you ready for that?
Sure, we can do a little voice discussion. Sure. So if anybody, Ellen, do you want to just call on somebody who, please raise your hand if you want to share any information?
My pronunciation of names that I haven't seen before is not the best.
Okay.
Abhinav has his hand up or her hand up.
Okay. What question or thoughts might you have, Abhinav? You have to unmute yourself.
Let's see if I can do that.
There you go.
Hello. Hi.
Good.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Good afternoon. What would you like to share?
Sure. Linda, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I have it's really lovely. I have a request. I joined a couple of minutes late and my internet is lagging. Is this session being recorded, or if I can get a link, I can send you my email ID so I can, because I missed the first 15-20 minutes, but it looks really interesting. So can I request for a recording of this or any link where I can access this?
Yes, we will be posting the recording and we will definitely send that out.
Sure. And is this being recorded? Just my one question is there.
Yes.
Perfect. May I request your email ID so I can just email you separately as well? Because I'm not sure how to reach out like for the recording.
Sure. Ellen or Jean will put our email addresses in chat.
Okay. Thank you. And one last question. There was a Zoom yesterday which I had missed because I was traveling. Can I get access to that one as well?
Absolutely. That was Ellen that she did.
Oh, thank you so much. That would be a great help. Thanks a lot.
Sure. And David, do you have a question as well? You're muted.
We're not hearing you yet, David. Oh, wait, I was just alerted that they can't unmute themselves, which means
you have to unmute.
I have to click ask to unmute. He should be okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
For the presentations that you've generated,
Mhm.
How would you assess the completeness of the response?
As far as the
Content.
content, I would say fairly complete, but surface, but more surface information. Like, I don't think it dives as deep as maybe you might like, but I think that depends on, again, the prompt, prompt, your prompt engineering. And Jean's going to talk about more about prompt engineering tomorrow as well regarding ChatGPT. Is, you know, if you ask it to be detailed, or you say you're speaking at this level, or doing a presentation for higher education students or graduate students, or, you know, it will pull the information and place it at that level. So you have to ask for the level you want it to.
Thank you. And I think we all expect editing to be required
Oh,
to
absolutely.
get it to the point where we want to be.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would want I would want to put my own mark on a presentation anyway, and not entirely use something that was generated by machine. So I think, you know, that's a given, is the editing.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Bonnie? Oh, we have to ask you to mute. Hold on.
I
Okay,
asked to
great. I think
unmute.
I'm now unmuted.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess my first reaction is that it disgusts me that the first slide it creates puts by Linda, you know, and gives it immediate authorship to a person who did not create it. I think that just is wrong, but that's my own rant. Obviously, we're all very worried about our students using this, and I think from an instructor point of view, I feel like I have my own content. I don't want to give my content up to this. So it seems very limited in how we can use it. I actually prefer the Microsoft PowerPoint AI design ideas, because that can make my slides pretty, but it's still my content, and I feel like I haven't lost control of that content.
Right.
But I think the big issue that seems to be coming up in the chat is dealing with the citations. And so, and this is maybe a prompt engineering question, but do you have any tips or suggestions for how to ask it to provide the necessary citations, either as a slide at the end or throughout, so that at least we can know where their information is coming from, even though obviously we would have to verify it, but just to see how, where it's getting its information from. And, you know, that I think that would be really helpful. So any tips or suggestions for how to prompt it effectively? Thank you.
Sure, I would prompt it to include a bibliography. So if you're asking for a particular topic, and say include, like, also make that in your prompt to include a bibliography. And one of the assignments for my class, I know I'm kind of skipping around a little bit regarding, I keep on referencing ChatGPT because it has similar features as far as how it functions. As far as the development of language, and we have, one of our assignments was to put together an annotated bibliography. So we incorporated the use of ChatGPT in that, and then asked the students to do their own research and evaluate the information that they got using ChatGPT. So, so I think if you're forthright with your students about that, and understanding that you know that they're going to be using it, I think goes a long way as far as make it part of the assignment, but there has to be part of it, the assignment that they need to do without ChatGPT or without a presentation software, an AI presentation software. But I hope that's helpful in some way, because I think these are uncharted waters that we're in right now. So we're helping each other through this. And that's the whole point of having, presentations like this. But I understand your Bonnie, that I just want to add, I understand your concern about saying that it was by me when I'm not the one who did it. And the only thing I can do is encourage you to use it as a starter, and that your students are aware about using it as a start for what they need to give you as far as a project or a presentation. Brian, do you have a question as well?
Yes, I do. Let me unraise my hand. There we go. My question is I've been playing around with ChatGPT, and the way it kind of works is it kind of like you can keep giving it different prompts if you wanted to change different things within what it generated. Does this tool that you've been sharing about have that same functionality where you can, if you're looking at the slides that it made and you're like, no, I want to add more about this, and you could just say add more about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that within what's already been generated, and it allows it to rewrite it and regenerate it with the addition?
My understanding is you can do that at the outline level. So when it provides you with the outline, that's where I think you would say, yeah, I want this, I want that. You could actually generate a whole different presentation and combine them. So that's my early exploration of it. That's my assessment, is that, you can easily change anything at the outline level. When it says, hey, this is the outline I came up with, what do you think? And you could be as detailed as you want in that outline level as well.
Okay.
It seems like it might be something to use in conjunction with ChatGPT once you get into the level of the individual slides. Maybe if what Brian is talking about there, where you can kind of have a dialogue, within ChatGPT. It doesn't seem like you can do that at that micro level with this product.
No, but I think you can add slides.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so you can add slides, or like I said, you could work offline as well. Yeah. There's also a collaboration aspect to it. Like if you noticed, it said Linda's workspace. I could invite Ellen and Jean to my workspace, and they could be working on something with me. Again, that it depends on the stakes of the presentation as far as whether you want to continue to work online or pull the information and then work in PowerPoint in the same manner, where you could use OneDrive.
And if you were going to do this with students and have them collaborate in that same context, so that they're not just plugging in information or allowing the AI to plug in the information without referencing, without looking it over, but making it a more of a like a collaboration of peers together as students. Mm-hmm. That might be a barrier. That could be a barrier to overcome that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I was looking up trying to find out where they get their information from. And mm-hmm. It seems like they really don't say at this point. They're really not disclosing that. They just say it comes from a variety of sources. So there's no indication that it comes from like a training data, the way that the GPTs are coming from. So one would have to guess that it's coming from the web, and then there's no indication of where on the web. So
right,
you definitely have to source this to find out. So I kind of feel like what you're getting here is a kind of a first draft, an outline, and a rough draft of a presentation.
Right. Right. And, there was an expert's presentation whom I attended that, and her name is escaping me at the moment. But the one thing that really stood out to me was that she was an AI really expert that I think the instructional design program had come in and talked with instructional design students and graduates. And her piece of advice was, you keep your secret sauce to yourself as far as your intellectual information that you don't want to be sourced for someone else's presentation. So that fueled my understanding of that these products tend to fuel themselves as far as your use of it will create the information that it pulls for somebody else's presentation. So that's why I like to just use it as an idea generator and then pull the information offline. Because any intellectual property that you want to keep as your intellectual property, I would not be creating in an AI presentation software. I would be creating it in PowerPoint and having better control over that. But that's just my personal thought on it. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that topic? On intellectual property and well, that said, so the best practices are basically to understand the limitations of the products that we're using, combine it with our own creativity. Because it's, like I said, a great starting point, but you need to add your personal touch and your information that makes this valuable to you and your audience. And staying up to date with the technology and how it's working. And that's going to be a constant, in the coming days, weeks, months. And then keeping your audience in mind to try to optimize your audience's needs and preferences. And that, I think of accessibility when I think of that, like optimizing your audience's needs and preferences, because you do have to make sure that if you're providing your presentation to people, that it is accessible. So yes, we can save time and enhance creativity. We have to keep that balance between risks and benefits. Have a good understanding of the limitations and edit the intellectual property outside of the AI tool. And of course, modify for accessibility, including alt tags and things. So does anyone have, oh, you know what? We have another poll actually. After going through this, I am curious. What, Ellen, you have something?
I just wanted to read something that's in the chat.
Okay, sure.
Who said during the course of the presentation, he jotted down a few key insights that could be beneficial. So it seems like it might be good to make sure everybody hears these. Let's succinct strategies to elevate the quality of AI generated slides. Bullet points. Tailor the AI output to align with your specific objectives. Validate all content for utmost accuracy. Ensure a logical flow and clarity in the presented information. Augment your points with suitable visual aids. Keep design and tonality consistent throughout. Incorporate interactive elements for audience engagement. Always remember, while AI is a remarkable tool, it is your personal expertise that truly brings a slide to life.
Yep.
Well stated.
Well said. Definitely. So what I am curious now is, is where you stand at this point? Are you like, no way, I wouldn't go near AI? Or, so Ellen, would you start the second poll, please, or the last poll?
Coming up.
There it is. So what are your thoughts about using AI generated presentations? I like how the response so far seems pretty mixed. I think it's a good, we could probably stop the poll now, Ellen, and show the
It
results.
might be interested for the people who say, no way I'm using it, no way I'm using it, to, if they feel comfortable, I'd be interested to know why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to click share the results.
Well, that's one person.
Yeah, there's just
Oh,
one.
it's only one person? Oh, you're right, you're right. I take it back. I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
Right.
No,
Well,
Thank you, Jean.
that's okay.
I stand corrected.
But anyway, no, I think being somewhere in the middle ground, like, hey, I'll try it, or I would use it for ideas only, is smart, is, you know, and yeah, it is great, but for what it's worth, it's great. And it's going to be constantly changing and getting better and better and smarter. So this presentation is going to be obsolete probably within weeks, you know. And yeah, Brian's laughing at that. I mean, maybe it'll be obsolete tomorrow. I don't know. But I hope this gave you some food for thought as far as your presentations that you need to do, and helping with the process, because I find it incredibly helpful, because I tend to sometimes start, like when I go to start a presentation, I'm like, oh, what do I say first? You know? And you know, this is a helpful starter. Brian, you have another statement? I'm going to ask Chuck.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know I've been reading a couple different things coming down the pipeline also with AI as a reasonable accommodation for students with disabilities. So depending on how that goes and how the lawyers get their teeth into it and how everyone, how people advocate or don't advocate for it, it'll be very interesting to see how it impacts all institutions from elementary all the way up to the colleges.
Absolutely. I agree. It is going to be interesting to see. But I hope this was helpful. I mean, we could still chat, as we'll stay in here and we could chat as long as you'd like about this, and test a few more things out if you wanted to, or we could just call it a session.